So the scientific advances have been phenomenal. These are winds, tailwinds. I heard there was somebody from the Air Force. All right. So they know about tailwinds. When they're flying long distance, they want the tailwinds. It helps them go faster. So these are tailwinds for Nigeria. The scientific advances in the biological sciences are phenomenal. We could do things we could never dream of before. They're ICT technologies. We need those bandwidths. And then, as I said, in Nigeria, we have the land, we have the variety of diets, we have the yield gaps. All the crops we eat in Nigeria can be improved with current technologies substantially. The urban to rural migration, I'll come to that because some people see that as a problem. It creates labor shortages in the farming zones. But it also creates urban markets. So to me, migration is an opportunity. It means more technical agriculture because you have fewer people, so you got to go mechanize. That means the youth will be interested. They might not leave the rural areas as much. It means concentrated markets, so your shipping and movement of commodities is more efficient. It means more product diversification. They might want banana juice, but they might also want banana chips or banana powder or whatever. That means different opportunity for processing, and John, it increases productivity. This is just an average example of the yield gaps. Today, that's what most farmers are producing, 10, 15 tons per hectare. IITA varieties can already go up to 40 tons per hectare. It's a question of helping farmers use that and then do it in a way that the market does not collapse because they're producing too much. You can do a lot with cassava. Now, I'm not proposing by any stretch of the imagination that Nigeria be a one-commodity country. I'm just using cassava as an example. You should use the whole range of crops that you can grow in Nigeria. We studied the bananas, for example. If that is taken up, bananas alone would be a $400 million industry in Nigeria. There are similar yield gaps for yams, for maize, for bananas, plantains. All of these can be improved very quickly. Those tailwinds help, but there are also headwinds, Mr. Air Force. And headwinds slow you down. And those are something I call biological threats. Please take notes of this. Biological threats, these are the pests and diseases that destroy your crops. For the research institutions in here, this is a very, very important thing you can contribute to. Whether it's an economic context or biological context, these pests are devastating. Right now we're under attack in cowpea, cassava, banana, coconuts. And we have, as I said earlier, population growth. We have a youth problem. The youth of Nigeria is huge. Already in 40 million and growing fast. In 10 years, it'll be almost 30 million more. They need a productive outlet. If we use the youth well, they are a very dynamic force. If you don't use them, they become a problem. The choice is, do we make them dynamic force or do we take it as a problem? Dr. General, I see you're nodding your head. And I agree. This population and economic growth, meaning, for example, the Chinese used to just eat vegetables. But now that they're rich, they want meats. And that means more food, because it takes a lot of crops to convert it into meats. So the demand is growing because they're getting richer, but it's also growing because the populations are growing. This is putting pressure on food systems. Nigeria, you all can take it for granted that there will be continued pressure on food systems. Food prices will keep going up, and they will create stress. And the poor of Nigeria, who pay a lot of their income on food, will be suffering the most. Some Nigerians are paying 60% of their wages on food. If you can reduce food costs by producing more, you're really helping them a lot. Post-harvest losses are huge. Depending on the crop, it can go 1/3 to 2/3. But like I said earlier, I don't like to just think of losses. If you take these losses, post-harvest losses can become post-harvest profits. How many agree with that? I only saw one hand. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I am serious. You can convert these losses into profits very quickly. There's no need to let your banana rot before. Go to any market anywhere in Nigeria at midnight when they're closed, and you'll find mountains of food wasted. At my house, I have mango juice 12 months of the year. And I have no processing plant. I just freeze it. I have banana chips 12 months of the year. So instead of letting the bananas rot, we can make breads, we can make chips, we can make juice, all sorts of things. And these technologies are very simple. This is a biological threat we had before. It started in Uganda, it started moving down west. It got to Nigeria 2002. Just when I landed at Ibadan, I was put on my lap, and we had to take care of it. These biological threats are really serious. The Institute now, Dr. Bremmel and her team are fighting another virus that came again from Uganda. It's moving west. But I want to tell you that we're not alone. We have friends. You know the value of friends. If you don't have a friend, you're a very, very, very lonely person. You're a sad person. Doesn't matter how much money you have. I looked at some figures of a study released. It's a little out of date, but it gives you a pattern about staffing and funding in Nigeria and R4D in agriculture. I see Nigeria is among the top list in Africa. That's very encouraging. Actually, you have more than any other, more than South Africa. When you look at staffing, again, you see Nigeria has 2,000 in R4D in agriculture. That's really encouraging. So we have quite a force to use. I think South Africa is less than you, yes. So that's a force the country can use. But nature also provides you. In addition to the land and climate and the ecologies, nature has given you a lot of other friends. Here's one. This guy here destroys 30 to 40% of cassava. It's a mite. And Dr. Bremmel and her colleagues in the past found another one that attacks that one. So we use this friend to attack the enemy. And the benefits for that, we talked about investments in agriculture, Mr. Chair. That research produced $1.7 billion in benefits. Did you hear me back there? What was the figure? Thank you. $1.7 billion in benefit from one research. Here's another friend. We found this one in Brazil. We look all over the world. IITA looks all over the world. We have no ego. Wherever we will find a friend, we go. We found him in Eastern Brazil and we brought him. And he and his worker, this guy and their workers, they were really true to their word. When we met this friend in Brazil, we talked to them. We said, we got this problem in Africa. We need it to be taken care of. And they said, we'll take care of it. And so they came and they did the job. They largely controlled a pest we had. No pesticides. No organized services were needed. It expanded on its own. Today it's controlling in 27 countries in Africa. It's a sustainable program. The benefits to that research was about $20 billion, estimated by this group here from the World Bank and so on in 2004. This is the pest that was destroying cassava. And we brought that friend to take care of this pest. Because that friend, it's not a very good picture, that's the friend, he loves that pest. So you're not alone, we have lots of friends. As you might have seen in an article some last month or 2 months ago, I said that I see the stars aligning very well in Nigeria. To me, the elections that happened in Nigeria were phenomenal. A real milestone. I don't see Nigerians relinquishing their rights anymore after that election. So things are looking really good. Now I want your indulgence, please. And you promised me earlier that you would allow me to indulge. Are you reneging on your promise? Thank you. Very quickly, I listed mega trends. My advice to Nigeria is use these mega trends to your advantage. They are not problems. They are opportunities you can exploit. I mentioned the biological threats. And this is in particular to our colleagues in the research areas. It's the only way to help ensure the farmers and industries about the investments to have a capacity in Nigeria to deal with biological threats. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And this is to the universities and research institutions of Nigeria. You must work to build this capacity. Close the yield gaps. They're already there. The potential is in the crops. Move to mechanize. I think I misspelled that one. And then if you do that, farmers and businesses will take care of the rest. I said this in Lisbon, Portugal, in April to the African Development Bank president. I said for Africa to fully protect itself, it must create a force to protect the country and the people from the biological threats. These threats are going to keep coming. The plants are just like you and I. They get sick from flus and all sorts of viruses and other diseases. Only a national capacity to deal with these threats will protect the investors and farmers, and then, of course, the Nigerian citizens from them. The youth, I have mentioned that. It's really a fast-growing group. It needs attention. And it can be a very, very powerful asset in moving productivity. Of course, it's not a one-act thing. You need to keep improving. The others are not standing still. Thailand is moving, Brazil is moving, China is moving, India is moving, South Africa is moving. So Nigeria can't fix it one time and say we're done. Research institutions in particular, we need to learn and keep improving. For example, this guy. There's a little story on this guy. I showed you some of the viruses that we were working on. But we have learned from this process that the first virus and the second virus are all transmitted by this fly. So now Dr. Bramall and her team are looking for friends. Again, remember our friends? Yes. To attack this fly. Instead of tackling these two separately, if we attack this fly, we have reduced the threat of these two diseases at the same time.